welcome to Focus on Local Artists. I'm Judy Domzalski and I work right here at Mid-County, and talking with me today is Lionel Lewis, our local artist from Port Charlotte. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. You have brought some really nice pieces for us today. The color is intense and beautiful. Could you tell us about some of your favorite pieces?
Well, my favorite piece is the horse. Yeah, and what I like about it is because it's abstract, but it's still representational. You can know that it's a horse and a jockey, and it gives it. You have the feeling of moving of the horse.
Yeah,
running.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We were discussing previously about the intense colors, that you use. There's really a prevalence of it's almost like a Merlot wine color is what I think of.
Yeah.
But you mix all of those colors yourself.
Yes, well, I do. I mix them myself, and I try to use them. I try to use it from the two, but I will add either its opposite or something that will give it a little more life and give it a more what I'm looking for, more harmony.
Oh,
more harmony, yes. Yeah.
Good word.
Yeah, because each color has its opposite, and so therefore when you put the opposite of the color into each other, it gives it a vibrance that you won't see by itself.
I like that word, the harmony. So let's say we were choosing yellow, which I see you having quite a lot. What would be the opposite?
Of violet.
Violet?
Violet, yeah, the opposite of yellow. Yeah. And what happens is that if you go too far, mix them together, then they cast each other out and becomes a gray.
Oh.
So you have to be careful how much you put in there.
So what would the opposite of green be?
Red is the opposite of green.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That is fascinating to me. And as you're talking about that, I'm looking at your paintings and seeing that exactly. So your paintings, for the most part, are acrylic on canvas.
Acrylic on canvas, yes, it is.
Is that your favorite?
Medium, yes.
Medium, yes.
Yeah.
But you've also have some here that are on paper.
On paper, yeah, acrylic on paper, watercolor paper.
What is the advantage of painting on paper with acrylics, would you say?
The paper absorbs the paint, and so therefore you can get a little more transparent. If you want, it looks more transparent on the paper itself.
It creates a different effect.
Because the paint is thinner, it's watered down much more, and so therefore it sort of gives it that transparent look to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, I always learn something in these interviews. You had mentioned earlier that you start with a pencil drawing.
Yes, I saw the pencil drawing. Would you like to see that?
I would.
Yeah. Well, for instance, on this right there, I first make several small clumps of thumbnail sketches. Then as I go along, I will enlarge it to where I feel comfortable with it, and then from there I go even to the size that I want it to be on the canvas.
They are absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a little surrealism in there?
Yes, there is. In fact, a lot of people said, when this is my own dimension, Dali, and I'm really not too happy with that because I want. I'm not copying him, but I love the fact that you put things in the painting that it's not associated with the figure itself, and as the viewer has to really try to see how they go together and why it's there and things like that, and it makes it more interesting to me.
Yes.
You know, one of my mentors or teachers, he called it thinking outside the box. You know, where it's a bird, but at the same time you push the boundary where you put other things that are not, you won't see it in a bird, but at the same time, in the painting, it becomes a part of it, and it could be enjoyed as a whole.
I'm especially fond of this one with the bird.
Yeah.
Is there any significance to the other parts of the painting, or is it random geometry?
It's just random geometry. I kind of love geometric shapes.
Yeah, I do too.
I love geometric shapes, and
and
so therefore I try to, you know, rather than have the feather looking like a real feather, I take it and make it as geometric, but you can still relate to it as the feather of the bird.
Exactly. Yeah. Taken to an extreme almost.
Yes.
And still following the lines of the bird's body.
Yes,
yet.
exactly.
So it does show movement. It looks to me like that bird is flying left to right. Very clever.
Thank you.
So, who are your influences in the art?
Well, of course, I have to say Salvador Dali.
Of course, yeah.
But at school I loved Paul Klee and Kandinsky. They're my two favorite artists. I do like. There's certain things about Picasso that I like and I don't like, but
Well, let's ask, what do you like?
Oh, Picasso.
Because
I like how one of the things that he does, which is what I do. He takes he makes a lot of preliminary drawings of what he's going to paint, and he puts it in different ways, different contrasts, different arrangements before, and I like that about him because it shows his dedication to the work, you know.
And discipline,
and
really,
right. And but now I'm sort of trying to make a transition where I don't have to do all of that, and be much. That is very constricted, you know, in a sort of way, I would think. And it's good, but at the same time, there's another part of that which is the opposite, which is of freedom. That, and that's what Kandinsky is quite opposite. That it's more
free flowing,
more intuitive, you know.
I think you have a little of, quite a lot really of the intuitive. Well, in the background, especially on this one, it's almost like impressionism in a way, the light coming in. And, so quite lovely, that one. I like that. Do you have any formal art training?
Yes, I studied at the American Art School in New York City. I trained there for about 4 years or so, and then I went on to Brooklyn College, and but I did not at the American Art School. I did mostly. I never studied fine art as fine art is supposed to be. I studied graphic arts and life drawing.
Oh.
Yeah, and later on, when I got to Brooklyn College, I started painting more there under very nice young instructor, and so that's. But I'm glad that I did the graphic arts. Allows me to be conscious of the design factor when I'm doing a painting. Yeah.
Gosh, that's fascinating. Have you been able to make a career in art? Or?
Not not as yet anyhow. But you know, I enjoy doing it so, and well, it has allowed me now to be. I teach at Punta Gorda Civic Association in Punta Gorda.
Oh.
I teach there, and I was teaching at FGCU Renaissance Academy before they closed the Punta Gorda campus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Were you teaching painting or art appreciation?
Painting.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Mm-hmm.
Any good students come out of there?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So, how did you make? What was your career?
I did antique restoration. And,
Wow.
Yeah, and I also did some picture frame restoration and making also.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, you were still attached to the
Yes,
art world
I was,
anyway.
yes.
Were you painting all the way through?
No, after being married and have kids, I took some like a sabbatical because I have to tend to family life also. Mm-hmm. So I didn't paint very much until after I kind of sort of like close to retirement. Mm-hmm. And moving down here, I really got back into paint and moving on the floor to Port Charlotte because it offered the Visual Arts Center in Punta Gorda. Mm-hmm. I got involved there and started to take a few courses, and it got me back into get my juices.
Your artistic juices flowing again.
Yes, of course, yes. Mm-hmm.
Some beautiful.
And I was lucky to meet a very good abstract instructor who sort of guided me to where I am today.
Do you have any big projects going on at the moment, or are you working on anything?
Well, I have a piece I'm working on right now because I'm kind of making a transition from not to lead us alone, but to sort of get more into a more intuitive and more non-representational abstract. Mm. I don't know if that, but still using some of the things that I do or know, and try and incorporate them into that. Yeah.
So as part of that transition, would you still be sketching before your paintings?
Well, I have so many sketches in my sketchbook that I can pick it up. I can pick up any part, and the thing is that in my transition, you move from one. The first thing on the canvas is not what you end up with.
Yeah.
You have about 6 or 7 layers or stops before you get to the end. Mm. And it's a pity my iPad is down. I could have showed you that, but my iPad is when.
And this is the style that you're moving towards now.
I'm moving towards, yes.
There is so much actual movement.
Right, there's more movement. There's a lot more movement there, and there's more freedom.
Yes,
And on this one, I had a brief or small sketch of it, but I didn't go through like all the details that in like if you. Like on a third painting down there, mm-hmm. Like here, this is all mapped out beforehand.
Yes.
Right. Whereas on that one, it's not quite there.
So you had a lot more free design. You really didn't know what the end product.
What I did. But no, the background, I took my time and mapped out the background. Yes. And from a geometrically, and to get that distance that you get there,
You've almost got a 3D effect on there because
mm-hmm. of the background,
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's like a cube that you're opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's quite lovely, and it's nice from a distance too.
Yes, thank you very much.
I think there's more softness in the color on
Yes,
that
yes.
one.
Well, it's funny. In my transition, it's funny. When in the previous paintings, I think I do a lot of mental work about the design and getting that part fine. But the colors come very intuitively. I just go, I don't think about the colors. I just pick up the paint, and as I go along, I see what color I can put next to each other. Mm-hmm. But in that one, there's not much thought process. I don't know. So
it's a totally different effect.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes. And if you look at the present, which I'm working on right now, now on this, all I'm making transition, I have trouble. The colors don't come as easily as they do in the past.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know why. I'm trying to figure that one out. I'm sort of like afraid to put too much color. For some reason, I'm just stick to a very limited palette of just 3 colors, whereas on the others I have a multitude of different varieties of colors.
Well, each painting is a standalone, obviously.
What's that?
Each one is its own standalone.
Yes, of course.
Has its own uniqueness.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So we don't know what the end result.
No, we don't know yet.
It hasn't told you as yet. It's still
exactly.
Still developing.
Still developing,
Mm-hmm. Are you showing anywhere at the moment?
At the Visual Arts Center in Punta Gorda, yes.
Good.
I have a show there right now.
Good, that's good. Have you won any awards for your work?
Yes, I've won. I have 2 Merits Awards from the Visual Arts Center, and one second place at the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Would you like to work in any other mediums in the future, or are you going to stick with acrylic?
Well, no. In fact, I've started to explore more what's called there are a lot of in acrylics. There are a lot of mediums that's paste and gels, which I'm hoping to start incorporating into my paintings. To give more of a 3-dimensional and texture, because you can get a lot of texture when you use gels and paste.
Ah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Texture meaning you would paint on top of layers.
Right, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's
and you're going to actually feel it,
Yeah.
There's something, but it's you really can't. It's very subtle. You really can't tell that it's there, because it's been pushed way back. Yeah.
How many paintings do you have so far in your collection?
I have about 30.
I can't wait for you to come and show here at the library. That's going to be so Lionel. I'm looking now at the beautiful fish over there with that lovely deep red color, and there again we're going with the surrealism and the geometry. Was there any inspiration for you behind that painting?
Well, one of the things that sort of like clicked in my mind, a friend of mine had a painting that the circle in the middle it's part of a nautical some kind of nautical instrument. I don't know what it's called, but I saw it, and then after starting with the bird, the lines when I draw, I just make 3 lines, and the lines sort of like indicated a fish, so I incorporated that nautical symbol.
Was it a sextant?
I'm not quite sure what it's called, honestly. It probably is. She had a painting with it there, and so I thought I incorporated it immediately into it, and again, one of the things that I've come to realize in my thinking is that birds and fishes have one thing in common. They are quite free. They have the birds have the entire sky
Yeah.
The fishes have an entire ocean with no restrictions. So, so combining them both together is sort of like that's why I sort of like sort of come the combination of those two things, you know.
Yes, that definitely comes out in that painting.
Yeah.
Do you give your paintings titles?
Some of them I do. It may be at the back, and I couldn't tell you offhand. If you look at the back, maybe.
Oh, on the fish one?
On the fish and the horse. I believe there are titles there. Yeah.
Well, good to know.
Yeah.
Well, Lionel, you told me earlier that your website is down currently and under construction, so we can't give you a plug on that.
Okay.
But if our viewers would like to get in touch with you for more information,
Oh, sure. You can email Lionel21491 and on Instagram Lionel Lewis 35. Where I sketch it out and plan it very carefully. And on this one, it's very free. Where I just put the paint onto there, and this is on wood, by the way.
Oh, it has the shine to it.
Yes, and on this one you can see some texture.
Yes.
Into it, and you know it allows you to scrape off paint and put more paint on.
Yes.
And go on until you come to where you're really satisfied.
Gosh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, but they're two different.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
You know.
The face on this one is really wonderful. You just captured an expression there that's haunting.
Right.
Both lovely.
Well, thank you very much.
So this is the direction we're
I'm going to, yes.
Yeah.
But it allows me to be more intuitive.
Yes.
And to be free, but at the same time, I'm sure I'm going to be incorporating some of what I did in the past onto it and explore more, you know, do some more exploration.
That's what it's all about. Yeah. I just can't wait to see what comes out in the future.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll be happy to share it with you.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been a real pleasure.
Well,
thank you for joining us
today. Thank you for
today.
allowing me to do this. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Most welcome.